Hi everyone, I'm Tim Van Orden, and this is Start Here. Today I want to talk about using the pain and suffering and loss in your life to move you forward, to create forward momentum, and to help you heal. Now I know that sounds like a strange concept. Pain and loss and suffering moving you forward. Most people are trying to escape from their pain and suffering. They want it to go away. I just want to be happy and comfortable and entertained and blissful and in love, and that's all I want. Yeah, those things are great, but very few people get to have that as their complete life. Most of us are going to deal with a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of loss and a lot of trying to cover it up, which is where most of our problems arise. The sticky part is this: when you're comfortable, you're much less likely to change. Why should you? You're comfortable. Nothing's really bothering you. There might be a little bit of pain, but you adapt to it. Your mind's like, yeah, it's a little bit, but no big deal. I'll get over it. I'll check it out in a month, or yeah, maybe next week I'll start eating better, but it's not that serious. It's okay. The more comfortable you are, the more likely you are to remain the same, at least here. Your body may be changing, but your mind, as long as it's comfortable, will fight to remain the same, unchanged, unaffected. But when something really tragic comes along, when somebody dies, or you get really ill, or you lose a body part or an organ, or you lose a house, or whatever the tragedy is, it wakes us up. It shocks us into reality. Our delusions go away, and we get really clear, and we see what matters. We see what's important. We see what's real. It grounds you. Pain grounds you. It brings you present. Now, I'm not saying go out and hurt yourself. What I am saying is that when pain does show up in your life, you can use it to move forward. In my audiobook, I talk about the concept of inflammation. Most people are looking for inspiration. They want to be inspired, but that's just mental masturbation, really. Inspiration means to breathe into. So basically, you breathe in, oh, that was really amazing. Wow, that was a great video. And then you breathe out, and it's gone. You were inspired. Now you're expired. Done. Over. But inflammation is about putting a burning ember inside of somebody. And that burning ember, every time they breathe, it fans the flame a little bit. And it creates inflammation. It creates heat. It creates discomfort. It gets you up off your butt. It forces you into action. Now, personally, I'm experiencing some pain today because it's the 3-month anniversary of the loss of my beloved Chirpa. I know a lot of people just don't get it. It's a cat, it's a pet, what's the big deal? Well, to me, it was one of the most profound connections I've ever had with a human or any other type of creature. And I'm sorry if you don't understand that, because if you haven't had that kind of connection, you're missing out. So I have this great loss, this great pain, this great reminder now of how my life is different, of how my life has less in it, because she's not there. And when she first died, it was unbearable. The pain just broke me in two. I couldn't take it. I didn't know what to do. But at the same time, it grounded me. It made me present, and it showed me what was truly important. The connections that we have in our life. That's what's truly important. And I saw how much value she had, because now she's not there anymore. And I went back and thought over all the times where I didn't give her the attention that I really wanted to, or I kind of dismissed her, or I just went about my business and whatever, just give her some food and then I go do my thing and I don't see her for the rest of the day. But the moment that she vanished from my life, never to return, is the moment that I really saw her true value. People talk about gratitude all the time, and yeah, I think gratitude is important and something that people should practice on a more regular basis. But gratitude is something that you feel good about. It's something that you're joyful about. I'm grateful for this camera and for this computer. I'm grateful that I have food. I'm grateful that I'm in a heated building right now in the winter. I'm grateful for so many things in my life. And that's nice. It's good. It's important to be grateful and to express gratitude and thanks. But there's a step before that, because gratitude doesn't change anyone. Gratitude doesn't cause you to overturn the negative habits in your life and the things that are holding you back. That important step before gratitude is what I call latitude. Now, latitude means width or breadth or depth. So, to me, instead of just being on the surface, like, oh, life is great, life is joyful, life is blissful, I'm grateful for all these things, latitude is about falling in deep. Really falling in deep, experiencing the width of life, the breadth of life, and the depth of every experience. I don't want to live a long life. I want to live a deep life. Someone's experiencing tragedy right now. Someone's getting really clear in their life right now as I make this video. And that's a reminder too. Every time I hear a siren, it brings me present. It's like, okay, regardless of how things might be in my life, somebody's experiencing a real challenge right now. And I'm going to be present to that. I'm going to experience the depth of that right now. So latitude, getting deep, really going in, allowing yourself to be affected, allowing yourself to be permeable and vulnerable, allowing things in, allowing people in, allowing the world to touch you. But people are like, no, I don't want to be attached. Because if you get attached, you get hurt. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with valuing things? What's wrong with getting attached? What's wrong with feeling that pain? Because people who are detached or unattached, they don't feel joy and they don't feel pain because they just kind of move through the surface. They never let themselves sink in and experience that depth. So this practice of latitude I call good grief. I know. It's about going back and remembering and immersing yourself in the depth of an experience, in the depth of a memory, in the depth of a connection. Going back and remembering that person that you lost. Remembering how important they were to you. Remembering the feelings, remembering the moments. Remember what they said or did. Remember what things looked like. Remember what they smelled like. Remember what it felt like when you lost that person or that thing or that creature or connection. Go back and touch it. Let yourself sink in again. Feel the pain and feel the joy and feel the beauty. Because if you can't go back and see the value of the things that have made you who you are, how can you possibly value what you have now? People say, I'm grateful for this and that and the other, but do they really value it? Because if you can quickly and easily get over a loss, what you're saying is that it was never really that important to you. It didn't have value. And if nothing in your past has had value, why should anything in your present or future have value? It's kind of like the skit from Monty Python's The Holy Grail, where they're coming along to a bridge, and there's a knight there that says, none shall pass. And they're like, but we have to go. We're on a quest. And he's like, none shall pass. So they get in a fight, and King Arthur cuts his arm off, and his blood's spurting out, and the guy's like, oh, it's just a flesh wound, come on, and he tries to fight him, and King Arthur cuts the other arm off, it's just a flesh wound, and there's blood spurting everywhere, and King Arthur eventually cuts both legs off, and then just leaves him there as the stump, but the guy's like, it's just a flesh wound, it's no problem, come on, don't be a wimp. However the scene goes, but that's what it's like. I've lost my arm, no big deal, didn't matter, don't need it, just a flesh wound, arm wasn't important to me. Oh, I lost my mom, I lost my dad. Yeah, no big deal. They weren't important to me. I lost my job. Yeah, no big deal. Wasn't important. Just a flesh wound. Lost my house, lost this, lost that. No big deal. Lost my legs. No big deal. Just a flesh wound. Not really important to me. This is what we do. We diminish the importance, we diminish the value of things so that we can move on and feel good about what we currently have. So we go into this state of delusion, saying those things really didn't have value to us. They weren't important, but they were. They still are. And not only did they have value when they were in your life, but they have value now that they're not in your life, because they can ground you. They can show you the importance and true value of other things. They can give you direction. They can give you focus. They can wake you up. Use the pain of their loss to wake yourself up. Just like a meditation practice or a yoga practice or a brushing your teeth practice, you spend 10 minutes a day grieving. Every day as a practice. You look at old photos of people, friends, things, lovers, pets that you've lost, or old houses that you used to live in. You read things that you wrote when you were younger. You look at things that you've accomplished that might have made it into the newspaper, things that you can no longer do anymore. You go back and you feel them. You let yourself sink in. You go deep. You see the value, you feel the value, and you feel a little bit of the pain, or maybe a lot of the pain. Directed, controlled, practiced. And it wakes you up. And you look around and you say, all this stuff, all these things that I've got in my life, all these things that are apparently so important, really don't have any value. And you don't notice that until you look at the things that truly do have value, the things that hurt, those deep wounds of things that you've lost, things that you'll never get back. They can show you what really matters in your life now. So that when you look around at the clutter and the chaos and all the to-do lists and the things that you need to get done because they're urgent, you're like, wait a minute. None of this has value. And then you can start to see clearly what's important and where to go in your life. But first you have to get rid of all the clutter. And you get rid of the clutter by going back and grieving. Going back and being present to a loss. Really going there, sinking in, feeling it. So that's a practice that I'm now taking on in my life. Good grief. 10 minutes a day, grieving. Going back and feeling, reliving, reconnecting. And then taking that loss and that pain and using it as inflammation to move me forward with clarity here and now. So that I can see beyond all the stuff that I have in my life that doesn't matter. It really doesn't have value to me. Because if I were to lose it, big deal. I hope that's of value to you. You're of great value to me. You matter to me. And I love you. Bye.